Wow. Oh dear me. That's comedy gold. That's what you call a gust. Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while and I'm pleased as always to be back in the great outdoors. Those of you familiar with my surroundings will recognise it as Sykeside Caravan and Camping Park. One of my favourite, if not the favourite campsite of mine in the Lake District National Park. Storm Otto is passing overhead and heading east toward Denmark. And I've brought out the Fjallraven Keb Endurance 3. So it's a bit of a 2-day adventure. Day 1, I'm staying out here in Sykeside with the Keb Endurance. Day 2, I'm heading north slightly. I'm going to be heading to another location for a wild camp in a different tent, a Terra Nova Laser Compact All Season 2, which I've used in a previous video up there. Anyway, the winds are dying down somewhat and then they're expected to pick up again as the storm system just moves east. So I'm going to use the weather window, get the tent pitched, got a couple of Delta ground anchors for the main guys, and it should hold its own. We'll see, could be famous last words, so let's get the tent pitched. So this tent was kindly gifted to me by a good friend of the channel, Mathias, thanks very much. It's probably a little bit heavy for going up mountains and wild camping, but we'll see. I think if we split the weight on it, if we get some good conditions, we'll get it up there and see how it fares. But I wanted to see how I can handle this tent solo. It's a huge piece of material, massive piece of fabric, always like handling a sail when there's difficult conditions, so I'll see how I get on. I've bought a footprint from the Nordisk Opland 3 and it's pretty similar dimensions, so it's going to do the job. And of course these Delta ground anchors, really secure, stable anchor for the main guy out points, which are going to keep the tent structure hopefully upright all night. Well, I've got most of the guys in. The main difficulty is the ground and getting the pegs in. It's so rocky, especially with the sort of the glacial till underneath here, underneath the grass, so it's really shallow level of soil. So I'm not the most confident in terms of how deep I've been able to get the pegs, but what I might do is just double up, go a little bit shallower in a kind of crossed configuration, and we'll see how that works. There's been some pretty strong gusts so far and this tent kind of just sheds it off, just flows over the structure. Yeah, it's looking pretty strong. The vents are nice and taut, we get good airflow through this tent. The doors are great, wait till you see inside. It's got a lovely drying line. I can sit up in my chair, brought a book to read. I can't wait to get in the tent and show you inside this one in a little bit more detail. So I'll finish the guying out, get the stuff in from the car, and we will start relaxing. And the kind of intended use for this one is pretty much polar expeditions on the lake, where you're going to be hunkered down for days in serious snow and strong winds. As you can see, it's pretty much over constructed, like a big tank. 10mm poles, thick dyneema guy lines, and loads of guy out points with double guys, i.e. you can adjust it from each end. So we've got quite a few pegs left over, just because I can't get these in. Like I say, the soil is that shallow. I've got a few spare V-stakes. The tent, the pegs that come with this are DAC V-stakes, pretty substantial. So all I'm going to do is make sure every single guy out point is fastened. The winds are forecast to pick up again this evening, so I don't want any mishaps in the early hours. There's a bit of rain set in as well, so but wow, what a lovely idyllic campsite, a great shelter and a couple of days relaxation in the Lake District. Doesn't really get better than that. I'm going to get the rest of the stuff in from the car, show you a few views, and I'm just going to relax. A nice kind of Heathen by Northern Monk. A little bit at an angle there. Just sort that out. Oh yeah, feels good to be back out. It's been a while. Been busy with the little ones, busy with life. So yeah, it feels good to be back out. Last trip was Scotland in the Cairngorm, which feels like an age away. Brought the little candle lantern on this one. I've had this for donkeys. We've got the big version as well. I got that, must have been about 18, 19 from Battersea Coed in North Wales. I'm going to light that later just for some ambience. I've got myself a nice merino wool buff. I've got a few other buffs, but none made out of merino. So yeah, tomorrow stick with the video, because tomorrow we're going to be wild camping. I might make 2 videos. I might just, you know, split it in half being the remnants of Storm Otto, and tomorrow being the wild camp up on the fells. So I'm looking forward to getting back out in the Laser Compact All Season 2. Nice little tent that I'll show you in here in a minute how compact it is, because it gets that namesake from the shorter section of poles, which results in an overall shorter pack size. Pretty much with the tent, what denotes the length of the pack is the length of the poles. So with the compact version of this tent, shorter poles equal shorter pack size, hence compact. There you go. Anyway, let's get into the Heathen. The Heathen. Right, well, that's lovely. Yeah, a nice fitting beer to have in the Lake District, and the sun's coming out and just shining through the fabric. That's really nice. Something ultimately cosy, isn't there, about just being inside a tent, especially when you've got one with a big vestibule or a big porch. It's that feeling of hygge, like being in a den when you were little. You know, you'd make a den, stay up in it, stay overnight in it if you were lucky. It's kind of that, isn't it? You know, the wind raging outside, you can probably hear it in them pines, but you're nice and warm and cosy in your tent, and that's what it's all about. I brought the bigger sleep mat on this one. I'm not taking this on the wild camp tomorrow. UL80 by Trekology. We get that inflated, and yeah, it should give me a slightly more, in my view, I find it a bit more comfortable to sleep in than my Thermarest, my Neo Air X Lite. I actually find that a little bit narrow now. Might look to upgrade that. A couple of the lads have gone with the X Therm. My mate Lee, who I saw up in Scotland, he's got the fully rectangular version, which I think it makes sense. The more I look at it, the more I think about it. So that might be one to upgrade for the future. But get this mat inflated. We'll go around and check the guys. I'll be doing that periodically throughout the camp, and I'll speak to you in a bit. Well, that's certainly picking up that wind. Should be an interesting night. That's certainly nice and comfortable. Yeah, you can just look out. See the fells. So I know and repeat myself, but these are the nice times, aren't they, when you're in your tent, when you're just looking out at the view. You're nice and warm, nice and cosy, and just taking it all in from the comfort of your shelter. I mean, to me, these are the best moments about wild camping. I do enjoy the hiking or the hike up to camp, but you can't beat just chilling in your tent, listening to the sounds of nature. Wow. Oh dear me. That is comedy gold. That's what you call a gust. But the tent handled that well. That was a serious gust. That completely bent in on me there. But yeah, as I was saying, all the birds and ravens have been blown out the trees, roosting. Listen to the sounds of nature. You can't beat that. I am going to go and check the guy lines and make sure we are still structurally sound. What a gust that was. It's come from the east. Come from over there. That's ripped out. It's ripped out one guy. So we get that back in. And I've actually forgotten to do that one. So there you go. Let's get that one back out. And we'd be good to go. This flaming ground is not the best for getting a good secure purchase on your peg. But it is what it is. So we get that. See if we can get a ground anchor in, maybe on both. There we go. Feel a little bit better now. So that gust was a bit of a killer. Just come from nowhere. It was quite funny. I'm just looking out at this tranquil scene, and all of a sudden the tent just bent in on me. So it ripped some of the guys out. And that's the main thing. If you can keep your guy lines in, and they're going to stay in, your tent's probably going to be fine, as long as it's built for the conditions. The problem I've got here, it's a bit touch and go, and I'm taking a chance. It's a bit of a gamble in that, you know, the guy lines aren't secured properly, because I can't get the pegs all the way in just because of the ground here. And that's what it is. It's always a bit of a gamble camping, especially in bad weather. Yeah, I don't seem to be having the best of luck with my time off and what the weather's like, you know, when I come out. It's just how it is sometimes. Pretty much every time for me at the moment, but it doesn't stop me getting out. I'm never going to let it stop me getting out. Find a bit of shelter. Yeah, I've got that bank of pines behind me, but it should be good. The tent flex right in, and it's flexed back out again. You know, speaking to my friend, poles on tents, the way he views them, Mathias, it's consumables. You know, they're going to bend from time to time. They're going to need replacing. That's why they give you spare sections. Fly sheet, you know, rips and tears. That's pretty terminal, isn't it, for a tent? But your poles, the pole on the Solo that bent, that was a pretty rare event according to Hillerberg, to bend a pole on the Black Label. It was just slightly bent. You know, I've binned it now, but when I got home, I've replaced it with a new section which Hillerberg kindly sent out. I couldn't get it to bend. That's how strong they are. So that gust of wind, like I say, it was pretty catastrophic. So yeah, I'm not cooking today. I'm going to have my meal in the inn, make the most of the facilities here. So what I'm going to do now is read my book. Read it many times. I like it. I'm going to read my book and just relax. Well, the winds have dropped down now, which is nice. Of course, it's forecast. It said, you know, they're potentially going to pick up again throughout the night with gusts of up to, well, 14, 50 miles an hour. Let's hope that doesn't materialise and the place where we're camped gives us a bit of shelter. But yeah, I've just had a bit of a kip, bit of a nap. It's so relaxing when I come to places like this. I'm at my most relaxed, and that's why I love it. Escapism. Well, we're losing the light. There's a few late arrivals at the campsite. They're just pitching the tents. It's okay for them because the winds have completely dropped down. There's a bit of a lull. It's been nice. I've just been sat out on the chair, overlooking the campsite, just watching the distant fells. There's some head torches up around Priest's Hole, which is a cave up on Dove Crag, right in the distance behind me. Must be some people bivvying or camping up there for the night. But it's been good, and there's now just the distant sound of a tawny owl just in the woodland behind me on the far side of the valley. So it's been really nice and relaxing. Just going to go and use the toilet, freshen up, and then head into the Brothers Water Inn for a nice evening meal. Then it's going to be back to the tent, get nice and cosy, little drop of red, relax before hopefully a good night's sleep and setting off for the wild camp tomorrow. So I'll speak to you in a bit. That was a lovely meal in the Brothers Water Inn, as always. Really nice home cooked food, superb quality. Yeah, staff friendly, and I was having a good chat with the owner. I come here quite a lot, so it's nice to say hello. I was explaining that there's going to be some road closures on the Kirkstone Pass coming up very soon, so you're not going to be able to access this location from the south. So obviously the sites are a little bit concerned in terms of the business and how that's going to affect potential customers coming from the south with the extra journey time. But I'd urge anyone that's coming to the Lake District National Park, it's just a couple more junctions, stay on the M6, come from the Keswick direction and come down south from the A66, work your way down. It's a really nice drive. You get all the scenery, and come and visit Sykeside, come and stay here, because it's an absolutely superb campsite. Great views, great location, loads of nice walks straight from the campsite, and yeah, you can't go far wrong. I'll leave links to this campsite in the description box below this video. Well, I'm sorry about the fact that the lens has steamed up. I've just been out a third time, found some rocks. It's about 10 to 2. Put those over the pegs at the front of the tent, which is where the main run to the wind is coming from. You can hear it. You can hear it in the trees first, coming down before it actually hits the tent. But I've done all I can now. I'm not keep getting out. Tighten the guys again, put rocks on them. There's a couple of people, the tents are destroyed outside and they've got into the cars. There's lots of people awake when I went out doing the same as me, and people just decided to go and kip in the cars instead. So we'll turn the lights out. I need a little bit of sleep if I can, and hopefully we'll survive, and I'll speak to you in the morning. Good night. Well, good morning everyone. What a night that was. It was pretty wild. Got out a couple of times, as you saw. Redid the guy lines, found some rocks, put them over, and the tent's absolutely fine. A bit of water in here, and that's because, like I said, the ground sheet isn't designed for this tent, and it was, protruding from the actual footprint of the tent. Rain's falling on that, and it's dripped inside. Dyneema, it's a little tiny bit wet through the floor, tiny bit. I imagine that's due to the age of the tent. It's a used tent, it's been well used by my friend who's kindly sent it to me, but yeah, I can just reproof the base of that in due course. I'm just getting a brew on, going to enjoy this, warm up a little bit. Put my earplugs in last night, they made a massive difference. Got some cheap silicone earplugs from Boots, so I put them in. They did the job, and I got myself a good couple of hours kip. And have my brew, have a little breakfast bar, get packed away, head back to the car. I'll have a quick shower first, make the most of the campsite, and we'll head off. Well, that is it for another video. The tent, as you can see, is standing tall. No damage, no issues whatsoever. We had to get out a couple of times to re-secure the guy lines, get the pegs in, put some rocks over the pegs, but it's absolutely fine. Other than that bit of water ingress due to the ground sheet not being designed for this tent, and slightly wet ground sheet in the inner part of the tent, which can be reproofed. No issues whatsoever. The tent is designed for extreme conditions. It's an expensive polar expedition tent. The winds last night were forecast around 40 to 50 miles an hour. Whilst I didn't get out and verify it with my wind meter because it was absolutely horrible out there, they were the predicted wind speed, so I don't know. It certainly felt bad. The couples behind me, their tents were smashed to bits. They've gone by the time I've got back from the toilets this morning. There's quite a few other people who've come up and commented on the wind speed last night to check how the tent did, so they were quite surprised that it's still standing. I'm going to go and get a shower, get packed away, and prepare for my wild camp, which is going to be the second video on this one. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a quick thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.